Hi guys, now I noticed that some of us were still a little bit confused based on our lesson just now on how to compare and order fractions, because some of you were asking what about different methods that we have done before, and I noticed that most of us could use the formula, but we didn't really know what these fractions mean. Like, what does it mean that 3 over 4 or 2 over 8 is bigger than one another, alright? So this is why we're going to go through a little bit on how to use fraction strips to visualize and explain what our learning actually means, okay? So sometimes just being able to do the math is not really enough, because we want to know what do these numbers actually mean in real life, okay? So now, these are fractions that we have that I have written down, and if you will notice that 4s and 8s as the denominator, it means that the denominators have the same multiples of the same number, meaning that they are in each other's multiples or timetables, okay? So let's work on identifying the fractions. So we have 3 quarters or 3 over 4 here, and we have 2 eighths or 2 over 8, and 5 eighths or 5 over 8. How do we represent them in fraction bars? So these 3 bars are exactly the same length. Each of them are exactly the same. Now what's different is that we're going to divide it into different numbers of parts. For example, let's take, we're going to do 8, okay? So we are going to represent this fraction, which is 3 over 4. So I'm going to write down the fraction over here. So the denominator means the number of times that I have divided the strip of paper. So how many times would I divide this into? There are 4 parts. So in this case, I would draw 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 parts or 4 denominator, number 4 for my denominator, showing that this paper has been divided into 4 equal parts. Now the numerator means how many parts out of that 4 I have. So I have 3 parts out of this 4 that I have shaded. Okay, let's take a look. Now we are going to do 2 over 8. How do you represent that in real life? Okay, so 2 over 8 means that I have a strip of paper and I divide it equally 8 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it means that I have the same strip of paper, and I've divided it into 8 equal parts. Now let's look at the numerator. So the numerator is 2. That means that out of 8 parts, I have 2. Out of the full 8, I only have 2. Alright? Okay, so let's try a third one together. 5 over 8. So same thing. The same piece of paper, I am going to divide it into 8 equal parts. 8 equal parts. So the same strip of paper, I'm going to divide it into 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 equal parts. Now let's look at the numerator. The numerator is 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade off 5 parts, because out of 8 I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's look at the amount of parts shaded I have. It is very simple that I can see that which is the most. So I'm going to order and compare. So when I order it, I'm going to order it from the least to the most. Looking at the yellow shaded parts, I know that 2 over 8 is the least, because if you look at this length of this bar, the entire length, which one has the most? Okay, so just ignore fractions. Look which one has the most and which one has the least. Just look at the colored parts. So I can see that 2 over 8 is the least. And the next is, okay, this one's a close one, so you have to look really carefully. So, which one is more? 5 over 8 or 3 over 4? I would say that 5 over 8 is lesser than 3 over 4. So my next number would be 5 over 8. Following that, and the largest one is 3 over 4. So over here, I have 3 over 4. Now, always remember, whenever we are using compare, we're always going to do the inequality symbols. So how do we do the inequality symbols? Remember what I said, which is whenever there is a number or a fraction that is more, we're going to put 2 dots next to it, and the number that is lesser, we're going to put 1 dot, then we're going to connect it. So over here, 2 over 8 is lesser than 5 over 8. So the one with the lesser value, we put 1 dot, and the one with that has a higher value, 5 over 8, so 2 over 8 and 5 over 8, 5 has more, so I'm going to put 2 dots here. Then I'm going to connect it. There we go, and I got the inequality symbol. Same thing goes over here, 5 over 8, I compare it with 3 over 4. So I know that 3 over 4 has more value, so I'm going to put 2 dots over here, and 5 over 8 is smaller in its value, so we're just going to connect it. And that's how you do it. So this is the answer. So that's how you can use fraction strips to explain what does it really mean. Now some of us are more comfortable, some of us are really good at doing this, okay? So using fraction conversion is another method. Step 1 for fraction conversion is, okay, look at the denominators. Okay, so look at the denominators and make sure that they are the same. They are the same. So let's look at the denominators of these numbers. So we have 4, 8, and 8. So we have to make them all the same. Because they are not the same, now we have to convert them. So what are we going to do? How can we convert the denominator to the common denominator over here? So we notice that 8 and 8, they are already the same, and now we have 4, which is the odd one out. How do we make 4 into 8? Okay, what we can do is we can multiply this by 2, because 4 multiplied by 2 gives me 8. Okay, so we multiply this and then we get 8. But if you multiply the denominator, you have to do the same with the numerator. So now the new fraction is 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. 2 multiplied by 4 gives me 8. Okay, all right. So the step 2 is, just to recap, over here, multiply the denominator to match other denominator. If you multiply the denominator, you also have to multiply the numerator. Okay? Multiply numerator with the same number. Okay, so in this case it's 2. So now we have our new fraction, and we're going to rewrite it like this. So I have now 6 over 8, 2 over 5, and 5 over 8. Now we can compare and order the fractions. So which one, now all the denominators are the same. Which fraction is the least and which fraction is the most? So now we know that 2 is the smallest number. So I'm going to write 2 over 8. The next is 5 over 8. And 6 over 8. But we don't write the 6 over 8 because we're going to go back to the original fraction, the question that we were looking at. So we have 3 over 4. Same thing, we're going to use the dots to the inequality symbols. So 5 over 8 has a larger value than 2 over 8. And 3 over 4 has a larger value than 5 over 8. Okay, so if you look at it, the numbers mean the same thing. Ta-da! So, explaining this using the fraction strips will look like this, because 2 over 8 means this, 5 over 8 means this, and 3 over 8 means this. That's all.